Be kind. I love this coffee mug that I found. It's so me. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day. Excuse me as I partake my milk tea. I love this milk tea. I found it at Don Quixote. It's a sakura flavor. And I love this is like literally my favorite time of the year is spring. And for me is I love to start anew again because no matter what you do in your life, you learn from experience. And from learning from experience, there are the best gifts that you can find. Like literally, sometimes these hidden messages, as I say, happens for a reason. Maybe it could be during a misunderstanding or during a fight or during some kind of, not good situation where people don't really think because, and you don't know what's going on the other person's life. And that happens all the time. Whether it happens through your, husband and wife situation or boyfriend and girlfriend or boyfriend and boyfriend or mother and daughter or mother and father or son and whatever. Friends, whatever. And it happens. But sometimes when this happens, instead of taking things to the next level, you should, like we talked about, because we are setting new intention. And, for what I teach in my classes, my workshop, my lecture, my seminars, whatever, like this is because yesterday really confirmed to me of what my next thing I'm going to do. And so, we talked about direction. I went out with my mommy, Oya Coco Day. We had fun. She really told me about direction and how important it is, And look at where she is now. She lives a very simple, quiet, beautiful life. A great example. She literally does eat her ochazuke every single day with her tsukemono. Every time I gotta go to, Kyoto, I have to go buy her this whole bunch of stuff, which is so great because, now my niece and her boyfriend eats it. And, that's the last thing. Even though we're so full of eating a complete meal, we gotta wipe them down with the ochazuke. そうするとお腹がさっぱりなるなってお母さんが言うけれど。So that's what my mom does. She eats. Now she prays. Oh my goodness. Whoo! Mamman-san, she is like on it like a clockwork. Which just shows how disciplined. If you pray things and good things to wish upon some. I listen to her. Excuse me if I'm getting emotional, but when I listen to her at my dad's gravesite, where she goes, mind you, every single month for the past 9 years. And you listen to what she says. She goes down the whole entire thing. And it's so beautiful. It's just, that's what you call mindfulness. When you see something like that, so beautiful, so elegant, it's like a flower petal blooming, as we say in a lot of these meditation. We wish we can become that flower petal blooming is to watch people and their action and their mindfulness. I mean, there was that one lady who goes, you know, she was parked in front of us, and next thing you know, she's got her chair and she's just weeding and taking care of the garden, and she's so intelligent about what kind of flowers and, you know, the Hawaiian name for it. And it was like, wow. You know, and it's like, I gotta get back on the road again for my treasure hunt. And, you know, I went on my treasure hunt and I found the most interesting people and stuff that you can find. You know, for me, I love old stuff. I don't call it old stuff, I call it real stuff. Because it carries so much history and knowledge, like this kakijiku, you know, this Japanese scroll that I found. And I got it, and I was sending it to my mom, and I said, Mom, what does it mean? And she's like, Wakannai yo. So, and then she started to explain, because it's such a difficult, even though it's Japanese, you know, is some of the kanji is just like, you know, can be interpreted many different ways. And so she kind of gave me a brief stuff. And some things that just sparked in me was saying, okay, just get it. So I called that guy and I went out to go get it. And he said, do you know what this is? And it's like, whatever. So I got it, took a picture, and sent it to all of my friends, you know, all over. And it was so interesting because some of them is like, walk on night. I mean, these are like my good friends in Japan. I mean, they're smart people. They're very... And it was like the same thing. Like, it's such an it's like an unhidden message of what it is. And so it was so funny because yesterday was such a, you know, crazy day. I was going through picking up this and that and everything. I had a schedule. I had to wait. I thought I was gonna faint in the hot sun because of my car, and I like need my car. You know, it was, you know, it was a lot of stuff. And then I'm getting calls from left to right, bing, bing, bing. It's like, what? Oh my God. You know, and things were just, you know, going chaos of something that I know. When I left my house, my sanctuary, it was calm. It was at a certain energy. And it's like, I come home to my haven, and it was so disrupted. And then at the end of the day, it got more disrupted. And it's sad. Why am I getting yelled at in my own house? Why am I getting all of this BS? And that's when it really, you know, I was gonna go to yoga, I was gonna do this. I just went on my couch. That's why I love this. I might have to change it now because, whew, I got drained out. Literally, because I was doing something so interesting, so meaningful, so enlightenment, and then all of a sudden the outer world, I never even asked for. I said, no, I'm not going to be home. No, do they listen? No, and then they get upset. Why? Why do I have to be in a crossfire? And it's a lot of times it's not, I'm just using yesterday as a platform, straight across, because sometimes you need to step back. And whatever incident that is happening in your life that you're getting so drained out, and you're in a fork in the road. And so that's why, you know, what I was talking about as my 3-part series, because I'm going to always break it down to 3-part, is when you start to put in your new intention, you create that map. And of course, having a map, you need to start to write your directions. Whatever it is. For me, is my Cocojor channel, because I have a lot of things I created in the last 20 years that, you know, it's me, whether I'm Cocojor or whether I am 77E Muse, it's me. And I'm just so fortunate that I had a lot of contents to share with everyone. And so, you know, for me is creating direction. It's so important. And so my next segment I was talking about is about boundaries. You know, and just so happened it was yesterday where you just, you know, got hit with the nail of the coffin of unexpected things, and it's time for you to set your boundary. Why is this all happening? Because I didn't set my boundary, and it was okay. Because that's how my house was. That was the kind of energy that I put in. And so what you put in is what you literally manifest around you. And so that's why in this full moon, you know, it's about really setting your boundaries. Because if you look at my YouTube, it all explains about boundaries and why. But, you know, so last night I was lying there and I was just, you know, going through this and that, but I was just literally drained out, my energy. And not feeling it, because I'm very, very, you know, I need to do this. I need to step back and I need to de-cleanse. And luckily I know how to detox thyself, how to recenter myself so I can have a beautiful shiny morning where I can just, you know, wake up like this and find the answers, you know. And I look at my phone, I didn't know what time it was, and I was like, oh, okay. I must have fell asleep yesterday before 12:51 a.m. because I got a call from, well, a text from my client saying, are you still up? Call me, aloha. 12:51 a.m. So that means I was in deep, deep sleep, you know, and we need that. It's not how many, you know, 8 hours of sleep, 6 hours sleep, but during that sleep, when you do that, I gave that watch, the Fitbit watch, it shows you how many hours or how many minutes you are in deep sleep, which is called savasana, which is a dead body pose. So I was lying there and it was this mosquito. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so irritating. I don't know where it's coming from. And I see it and you try to catch it, but you're too tired to catch it, right? Just like sheeps, you know, if they have a whole bunch of wool on them, but that is their life. That's what they curate, you know, and that's what we seek for from sheeps, is their warmness, is their love, is their patience, it's all of that. But how are we going to get that you know, is when, and it's so funny this morning, it's like, what is the third subject that I need to finish this map and what I needed? So I moved from this bed to my bed. I'm lying there trying to, play these games and make sure I'm getting that daily, points or whatever. And my eyes are just going. In the meantime, I get a text from Japan saying, do you know who this is for the kakijiku, for the Japanese squirrel? And I'm like, huh? And it was my Japan team, who created my miracle bubble that I'm into collaboration with. And he texts me and he goes, this is one of the songs in the Manyoshu, the oldest poetry collection in Japan. So I said, wow, that's interesting. You're very smart. And then he said he'll tell me later. And then I told him what my mom said about the, and it's funny because my mind goes, so I start Googling about it, and I already posted it in my Facebook, but I'll share later. Then he sent me a beautiful picture of his whole family. And I said, sorry, my eyes is ready to sleep, at 11:30, and then it was this mosquito again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. I need to go to sleep. Can somebody just anoint me? And it was funny because I just lie there and wishing that I get anointed. And I went into deep, deep sleep where literally I couldn't even, I'm still up at 12:51, and I get this, and it's funny because I come out waking up this morning feeling so blessed. And I start writing once again in my journal. And this is the best thing and the best gift that you can do for yourself. I love making, and it's so funny because I had a meeting and the brother had a the notebook, like old school. And I said, oh, you're right on. He goes, I know, this is the best kind. And it's like, you start to watch people instead of going through this, because you lose so much information, believe me, I remember back at Cocojor when somebody stole my phone. I'll do that segment, a good segment about that. So, and that's what's, when I woke up, I was saying to myself, that's number 3. Because you're going to be really feeling that you're being anointed to see what your, what you're supposed to do. What is your purpose? In Japanese, they say ikigai. What is your purpose in your life that you are here in this, And that you came into this life because we're all chosen one. Nobody is better than anybody else. Nobody differs than anybody else. But it's the choices that we make that really sets the difference. And so is because we're always being smeared or rubbed the wrong way. You know, because for some reason, we always tend to look more favorably on the negativity. You know, people get off of that, of daunting, of ganging up on people, bullying people, teasing people. Do you need that kind of people in your life that does that? Really? And so, once you find your purpose, yes, you're going to find things that you need to let go because they're just going to what? In Japanese, ashi o hipparu no, which means that there's going to be someone pulling your leg so they can come out, they can have you there. And that's when I say energy level of pulling. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much, who you are. Can you see air? Can you see energy? Can you see vibrations? What is do? In quantum physics, equal and opposite reaction. And so when you're gonna do things, always lift up. Because, you know, when all of that happens, you understand, I understand, because, you know, when I was little, I spoke multiple languages. I can't help it, but people did not like it. People did not, you know, whether it was my teachers, which, you know, next thing you know, that went into a domino effects to the students. That it's okay to do that. But you know what? Luckily, I had a good mom that didn't put me on medication or took me to the doctor or thought I was weird because I was me, being me. Thank you, Mama. You know, I will always remember my dad, leave her alone, let her be. Exactly. Let me be. And so I think everybody, and I was very fortunate that I was able to do that. You know? And I took it. I took it to myself to find out who I am. You know? And so life is really, no matter how much mistakes or how much things that we go through, let them be that cobblestone of knowledge, of understanding, of awakening. And then get to the next and next and next. You know, because then you can go to the second feeling of ownership for your words. Because once you take ownership of what you write, because nowadays it's all about texting or, you know, people don't have conversation face to face, one to one. But now in this technology, thank you to Zoom. And all the smartphones, you know, you can look at computers and you can look at one another. And so this is why, you know, I am so lucky because we're at this age where we're able to understand the true organic ways and the inorganic ways. And so there's a lot of things that we can explore, and, you know, and that's part of what I'm saying is that ownership for your words, it's so intense. Because, you know, look at the world now in technology. Twitter, you know, when Twitter first came out, those boop, 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 limited sentences. And Facebook, people write their comments and this and that. And so the ownership for your words will make you start to understand the mindfulness of what is around you. Because you're going to start seeing things differently. Once you take ownership of what the words you use, you're going to start to understand to be more mindful. And I think we're so lucky here in Hawaii because we have a head start called Aloha. The Aloha spirit. Which, wow, nowadays, it's changed. And with that change, we need to be respectful for each other's boundaries. Not like that person hates you. It's just asking for, you know what, this is my boundary, this is my respect. Why are you telling me otherwise? And so that's when you're going to start to see things differently. Once you start to, like I'm saying, it's simple steps that we need to do. You pay, I charge thousands and thousands of dollars, but for me, this is my anointment because I love to talk and I love to learn and I love to seek knowledge. And the greatest thing is that I learn is that I have no judgment. I don't care if you're in prison or if you are a priest or if you are a whatever. To me, I only see through the eyes. Because that's what I was learned to do. I seek wisdom through the eyes. Because once you seek wisdom through the eyes, it's so funny. There's this one person that I always laugh about, but it is the truth, And he will say to me on Queen Street, "Look into my eyes." And I would just literally crack up. And it is the truth. And, that person is a very strong person. Because he sees things in different perspective. And once you see things in different perspective, you got to understand, and it's going to start to affect because there is no judgment. Once you understand no judgment, guess what? There's that clearness of things that we can be more mindful, such as hate. Why you gotta hate that person because they're that color, or that religion, or that race, or that belief, or that spirit? Embrace them, And once you embrace them, you get to understand that it's not your story. It's their story, And that's where you come to really start to self-realization. Being out in LA, it was, let me tell you, it was a wake-up call. It was. But it gave me such an opportunity to really, and I got into a big showdown last July about this, because I was so upset with so many different things going on. It's like, but you need to fuel your body, like I always make it a point, like a Japanese Shinkansen. When you ride on these trains, and I did a lot throughout Japan, and I went through so many different cities, and I used to live out in Odawara and out in Hakone, and or even down to Towadoko during fall, where I took my mom. And for me, I was so lucky to work for a company that really care about family. I mean, at that time, I did my Oya Coco when both my parents, I think at my age, was able to go to like their favorite place, San Francisco at the Sheraton Palace, or you know, Japan, or somewhere. And my dad was, and my mom was so happy. And that's what Oya Coco means, and that's the thing we have to do, is always appreciate your parents, no matter what we do and how we do it. But now I can look back and say, and talk to my mom, I'm so glad I did that. Because they gave me life. And that's what Oya Coco, but my mom said, no, it's Gyaku desho, Kodomo Koko desho. Which, yeah, that is true right now, but and so, there is a cycle of life. No matter what it is and how old you will always be their child. And those are the real true emotions of life. And we have to do is let it go, so we can put in new intention into your soul. And once you do that, you can see a lot brighter of light to correct your direction, to seek that mistake was actually a blessing in the sky. And so with that, you start to create this effect of clearer vision and mindset. And once you do that, you can start to enjoy your hobbies. I used to go around, wherever I do is collect teacups and the history behind that. I love these, and these are like my hobby. And then you're going to start to really see what is necessary. What is necessary to go through these certain steps? I mean, it's like, do I have to listen to all this freaking drama? You start to like unfold the unnecessary. Once you start to open the chakra, which is affecting to have clear vision and clear mindset. And that's what we talked about, the vagus nerve. And so then you're going to start to just trust the process, because you've given yourself and trusting yourself. And by trusting yourself, you trust the unknown divine spirit, whether it's Buddha, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Christ, Muhammad, it doesn't matter, because you already start to see things differently, because it's this thing called humanity. So once you trust the process, the mind starts to process. Correct? I learned that. When you go to certain training, whether it's training your physical body, training your mental body, training your thyself body, everything needs to be trained. And so when you do this training process, your coach, you're like, I'm not going to be able to lift this. I'm not able to do this bend. I'm not able to, all this, I am unable. And then your mentor, your coach, or your teacher, or, your sensei, your guru, your whatever, the mastermind. Because they went through this, because they trust the process. And so when you trust the process, your mind process, and that's when you start to speak words, because you start to understand about taking ownership for your words. And with that, you start to enlighten you, and you start to trust you. And once you get that, guess what? There is a vision you to go forward. And so this is what literally I got last night, where I was just tired of all the noises, of all the things that I didn't even create, but I was part of it unknowingly or knowingly, because I had to go through that process. And lying there, and when that mosquito came, and then last night, literally, I asked to be anointed so this mosquito would stop bothering me. And that's what they do for sheep. They put the anointment so the insects and the mosquitoes can keep that world, that you, that life, that warmth that we were all created to be. And so, you know, this is a long segment, is because it is an important segment. And in order for you to start this new 20 year, because it is what it is, you know, Google it, because hey, technology, they know everything, right? They have mind control, they have all these things that's gonna, you know, really change. Elon Musk, he's a genius. Bill Gates, he's a genius. Steve Jobs, he was mindful and a genius. And so life is all filled with genius. It's how and what our process of anointment, of what our ikigai, our purpose of life is. Because once you lose that purpose, once you lose the ikigai, you just stay there and get stagnant. Or you can go forward. And this is 2021. I mean, I don't think there's anything that kicked us in the ass more than anything than Corona, COVID, wearing masks, social distance, all those things. And there's more to come. And so start your path to stay grounded, create that map of life, seek that direction, seek that boundary, and seek that anointment, your purpose, your love, your passion for life. So you take care and have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm going to put all of my how to get in touch with Cocojor and how to understand these messages or these chit chat or these corners or things, whatever it is, on my YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe. I got cooking, I got DIY, I got dog care, I got health and wellness. I got a lot of stuff that I am Cocojor, what are you doing? I am, you know? And, oh, I love this one that we're going to start doing, the Barefoot and Beautiful, Eat, Pray, and Love, and how to curate that map, you know? And so little mini workshops are coming up, and we're also going to open up our Kaimana Healing Heart 30-day challenge. And so there's a lot coming up that I started. Remember, we used to call our diary, our journey, our journal. Start creating your journal of life and seek that, because this is the best testimonial you ever leave for those who find it after you're gone. So take time to care thyself. Self-care is really all about opening up you and the best of you. And those who understand will be there. Maybe not now, maybe later on, or maybe not forever. Because there's always a reason that you came across this person. There's always a season to enjoy and laugh and cry and swear and love and eat and pray together, and just wish them all the best, so it can come back, if it was meant to be, for a lifetime. So don't ever think it's ever too late to do anything, because life is there. You just have to live it and not hate it or hate somebody, because it's so unnecessary thing to do. Literally. Once you set no boundary, the vision becomes much clearer, and hate starts to dissipate, because you start to accept love. Right? So have a wonderful journey, and if you want to, come join us at my new cocojorchannel.com. Thank you, and most of all, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for this life, to go through this. I mean, like, literally, this is like part of history. Create that history. Like I said, this is the real, true Facebook. You. Thumbs up. Aloha.